Welcome to Fox 54 News at 6. I'm Kenesha Dees. Heated discussion during a city council meeting in Muscle Shoals last night regarding the termination of the city clerk. You may recall Brittany Walker, pictured here, fired from her position Friday after an investigation into the city's participation in a medical reimbursement program with a local insurance company. We have now Fox 54's Gabe Glassman, who joins us live from Muscle Shoals. Gabe, where does that case currently stand and why are city leaders arguing?
Yeah, Kenesha, so after Walker was filed, the city gives her 10 days to file an appeal for the city's decision. But a letter sent by a Muscle Shoals councilman to the Muscle Shoals mayor has stirred some controversy.
Mr. Lindley, say this, sir.
It's over. No, you're out. That's it. No more.
Okay, man.
These are the moments following a question from Mayor Billy Hudson about a letter he was sent from Councilmember Willis Thompson ordering Hudson to stop trying to hire or assign someone to perform the duties of the city clerk. Thompson cites an Alabama statute listing the city council as the ones to appoint a city clerk. But Mayor Hudson says the letter allegedly accuses him of things he hasn't tried to do.
I can work with anybody. That's not my problem, is working with folks. It's just that, I just don't like to be accused of things that I haven't done. Now, if I've done them, you have every right to get on me, but if I don't do them, then, you need not be sending me letters that say I have done that job. Like I said, if I've done something, let's correct it, but I've not done this right here, so there was no need to send me this letter.
I want to quickly read you a statement sent to us by Councilman Thompson. It reads, the letter that was written to Mayor Billy Hudson and the entire council only clarifies the concern about the part-time workers in regards to full-time clerk position and why the consistency and proper procedure matter. I wanted to make sure that the expectation and responsibilities were clearly outlined. Live in Muscle Shoals, Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Thank you, Gabe. We also reached out to City Council President Donnie Lindley. He says, quote, there was nothing related to that subject on our meeting agenda for us to address. Therefore, out of respect for all parties and for the integrity of the process, I will not allow any comments from other council members, the mayor, or anyone else concerning this subject during our council meetings until the appropriate time. And we saw there with Gabe, but rain, go away. We had a lot of it today across North Alabama after we had some warmer temps and sunny sky yesterday. And this is a look from Muscle Shoals. You can see, yes, puddles, gloomy sky, all that jazz. I'm joined now by Fox 54 Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Jordan, yesterday you said we get some rain around this time today. Can we expect more rain throughout the night?
Yeah, some of us are going to continue to see a little bit more rain as we head into the overnight. We have traded the puddles in the gloomy sky for the puddles in a dark sky. We're looking southbound on Memorial Parkway this evening. Traffic does seem to be moving smoothly, but the rain is really beginning to quiet down here in the city of Huntsville specifically, and really locations west of the I-65 corridor. Still a couple of isolated showers across Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin counties, but the rain is really beginning to calm down a little bit. We'll zoom things in on the 565 corridor, I-65. Again, still some scattered showers, but it's not as heavy as it was, say, an hour ago. Huntsville back into Madison, Athens, Decatur, Priceville, Hartselle, and then heading further down into Coleman County. The rain's just simply not as widespread as it once was. Where it is still widespread back across northeast Alabama, Bridgeport, Stevenson, Scottsboro, Henniger, Fort Payne, Guntersville, Albertville, those folks still talking about a fair amount of rain at times. We're talking about some pockets of heavier rain kind of between Henniger and Fort Payne. This activity is all associated with a cold front. That cold front is going to usher in, yes, colder air as we head into your Wednesday. We'll talk about it in just a minute.
Tonight, we've learned Collinsville Police Chief Stephen Malone has resigned after being arrested in Nashville this weekend. Malone was arrested on Sunday for aggravated assault and strangulation. The Metropolitan Nashville Police Department says the alleged assault happened during a dispute at the home of Malone's girlfriend, Savannah Riley. According to authorities, Malone struck Riley in the face, grabbed her by the throat, and slammed her to the ground. Malone was released on bond yesterday. Jeremy Pinniger has been named interim police chief. A suspect in a multi-state fuel theft case has been arrested in DeKalb County. Here's a picture of it. The sheriff's office says a deputy stopped a U-Haul van yesterday morning on Highway 117 in Mentone near East River Road. During that stop, the deputy discovered about 600 gallons of diesel fuel stored improperly in large tanks, along with electrical switches, wiring, and remotes, authorities say. The The suspect, pictured here, identified by authorities as Michelle Alvarez. Deputies say Alvarez did not have a commercial driver's license or the required paperwork to legally transport fuel in Alabama. He faces multiple felony charges, including felony unlawful motor vehicle fuel transport and receiving stolen property. The newest charges filed against a former church daycare worker accused of sexually abusing multiple children we're now learning took place a week before the encounter that led to his arrest. Cameron White, pictured here, was arrested for sexual misconduct that allegedly took place on or about January 20th. According to court documents filed today, White allegedly had sexual contact with victims under the age of 12 on January 12th as well. White is being held in the Madison County Jail and will appear in court on February 18th. Water finally back for some Lauderdale County residents who have been without water for over a week. This comes as the West Lauderdale Water Authority has been working to fix leaks from burst pipes resulting from January's winter storm, causing storage tanks to lose water. As customers get water back, board member Andy Massey tells FOX54 new water meters will be used in the future that can alert the authority of any leaks before things escalate.
We're getting new water meters, and in those water meters, there'll be sensors we can place out to reconcile the difference between the amount of water that's going to the customer's house and the amount of water going through that pipe. That will give us an early warning to that. Currently, right now, you've got to drive a truck around with the meter reader and then go back and look and see, hey, they're losing a lot of water at this house.
Massey says that he wants to send his apologies to those impacted by the event, saying he also was without water during the outage. Ken McPheeters is filing a legal challenge over U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville's eligibility to run for governor. McPheeters says the Alabama Republican Party did not verify Tuberville's residency and dismissed his challenge prematurely, clearing the senator for the May primary ballot. He plans to seek a court review of records, including travel, financial, and tax documents, to determine if Tuberville meets the state's 7-year residency requirement. Do you ever get an alert on your phone and wonder what it actually means? Well, Leo wants you to know the difference. Amber Alerts are issued when a child under 18 is abducted or believed to be in serious danger. Missing child alerts are used when a child is missing and at risk of serious harm. Missing senior alerts involve elderly people with cognitive conditions like Alzheimer's or dementia who may be in danger. Blue alerts are issued when a law enforcement officer is missing, injured, or killed in the line of duty, and there's a threat to the public. To receive these alerts, you can text AL Alerts to 99411 or visit Aaliyah's Community Information Center website. Albertville city leaders took a major step in the city's growth, but some folks are concerned. FOX54's Logan Alexandra Russell explains next. In this teacher's class, Sparks Fly, we get to meet this week's FOX54's top teacher who cultivates his students to get hands-on in agriculture. Stick with us. A major move today in Albertville as the city council officially clears the way for growth. This morning, leaders adopted a revised zoning ordinance, the first step in a two-phase plan to rewrite the city's blueprint for growth. Fox 54's Logan Alexandra Russell explains that while the city calls it a cleanup, longtime residents are saying the real challenge lies in addressing aging infrastructure and the surge of short-term rentals.
The gavel came down this morning on what city officials are calling phase one of a massive project aimed at taking Albertville into the 21st century. The Albertville City Council unanimously adopted a revised zoning ordinance kickstarting one of the biggest projects the council has ever taken on. The first phase is all technical, but it sets the stage for critical policy decisions like defining commercial spaces.
What we did today was really just kind of a cleanup of the organization.
City Council President Nathan Broadhurst says the real planning starts this evening.
The big goal of this, which begins tonight at 6 o'clock with a public meeting, is we look at our overall comprehensive plan for the city. So we're going to look at what are the long-term challenges and opportunities for Albertville over the next decades and try to address those through policy changes that will take place. National zoning ordinance update in the near future.
For Bonnie Callahan, whose roots here go back to the 1800s, the concern is ensuring the new map eliminates spot zoning, where businesses pop up in the middle of quiet residential blocks. Callahan says she would also like to see more regulations around short-term rental properties.
We do have Airbnbs and VRBOs in residential sections. I'm in the historic district, and there are 2 homes that are Airbnb at this time, and one of them features housing 22 people overnight. Well, I don't really want to see what 22 cars would look like. Not that that would be the effect, but it's not a residential thing.
Callahan believes the focus should be on modernizing infrastructure and giving the city a facelift. The city says public feedback on these infrastructure goals is vital before they move into the second phase of the plan next year. In Albertville, Logan Alexandra Russell, Fox 54 News.
You can head on over to fox54.com for the links to the zoning map and the ordinance. This teacher we're about to meet is all about agri-science and confidence boosting. A look at all the sparks that fly in his classroom in this week's Fox 54's top teacher. In the meantime, Jordan, we've had an abundance of rain today.
Yeah, and it's continuing this evening, and it's going to continue for the next several hours. On the backside of the rain, cooler air builds back into the Tennessee Valley. We'll talk about it in just a couple of minutes.
Now, Fox 54's top teacher. Sponsored by Calhoun Community College.
This educator we're about to meet sparks fly in his classroom. Literally, he's an agri-science teacher in Lawrence County and was nominated by one of his students who says he inspires future farmers and ag educators like her. We hear from her and get to meet this week's Fox 54's top teacher, Jonathan Lehman from Lawrence County High School. Welcome.
Agriculture is just so important to our county, to Lawrence County.
To Jonathan Lehman's class, where sparks fly and students are learning to be hands-on.
So many come into this classroom thinking they can't do these things. They've never had the opportunity to put their hands on tools. They've never had the opportunity to learn the science behind so many agricultural things.
Welding, one of the fun activities in Lehman's agri-science class.
We do wood in first semester, and then we do metal second semester. We also do small engines, and we have a greenhouse that we'll set up in the spring.
He's taught at Lawrence County High School for 4 years, and for a total of 17 years. Lehman says confidence is what sustains students.
Some of them gain so much confidence just by trying it, being successful, and seeing that it's not as hard as maybe they thought it was.
Take Abby Rice, for example.
With Abby is one of those wonderful examples who was quiet, who was shy, who was a little timid to touch anything or to try anything, but just giving her the opportunity, letting her feel successful, she blossomed.
She's now secretary of her school's Future Farmers of America organization and may consider a future in teaching agriculture like Lehman.
When I get older, I thought about being an ag teacher.
Abby says Lehman is there for her inside and outside of the classroom and shows up in a positive way.
Whenever he's in there, he's just always brightening up the mood.
For Lehman, that bright spark to keep his students believing in what they can do in the community around them.
We need more people going into this field, and I get to teach some wonderful hands-on skills that are also being lost, I believe.
Congratulations, Mr. Lehman. What an impact. Check out the moment he was surprised by Abby and listen in on how she says Mr. Lehman helped her open up more in his class right here on Fox 54 Plus. Don't forget to nominate a teacher on fox54.com.
Now, the Tennessee Valley's certified most accurate forecast from the Fox 54 Weather Impact Team.
Here's a look out in Lauderdale County. Very gloomy, very cloudy, very different from what we saw Monday. We started the week off with blue sky and sunshine, and now it's just rain. And
it's just sad.
Wet mess.
And yes, a wet mess. And honestly, the weather is only going to continue to go downhill.
Oh boy.
I know, I'm just a bundle of joy this evening, aren't I?
Thank you.
But it's going to get better. You know the old phrase, it's got to get worse before it can get better?
Very true.
Yeah, that is the 7-day forecast, and we'll get to the 7-day forecast here in just a few minutes. Live look out over the Parkway this evening. For the most part, it appears traffic seems to be moving smoothly. Roadways wet, of course. We've been talking about rain for the last several hours. Kind of began to push its way into the Tennessee Valley right around the lunch hour, and is continuing to stick around, though becoming much more isolated across northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, down into Franklin County. Maybe a couple of you are waiting on some loved ones to get home this evening. Still talking about some scattered showers across the 565 corridor, I-65, Ardmore, down into Athens, Decatur, Priceville, Hartselle, and then heading down into Coleman County. We're still talking about some scattered showers, but the rain is not overly heavy at this point, so that's definitely a little bit of good news across Madison, Limestone, Morgan, and then even down into Coleman counties. The folks that are still dealing with the widespread rain are back across northeast Alabama, Stevenson, Scottsboro, Henniger, back into Fort Payne. Those folks still dealing with some moderate to at times heavy rainfall, beginning to see some breaks in the rain. Gunnersville down towards Albertville, a little bit of good news there. But if you are over in northeast Alabama this evening, rain more widespread, so it's probably going to take your loved one a couple of extra minutes to get home. All of this activity associated with a cold front. Look at this, rain extends all the way into central South Alabama, back into central and South Mississippi, even talking about some rain associated with this cold front back into the great state of Louisiana. Of course, the cold front is going to drop our temperatures. Not right away, though. We're going to hold somewhat steady in the mid and upper 40s through the rest of the evening. That'll be quite nice. Small chance of rain on Wednesday. That is mostly to account for the fact that we could see a little bit of drizzle, say between the hours of 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Otherwise, it does look like we are going to be dry Thursday, Friday, even as we head into Saturday, Sunday. I had a small chance of rain on Monday. I have since removed that small chance of rain. Now, unfortunately, while it does look like we are going to be dry as we head into Wednesday afternoon, we are still going to be holding on to the cloud cover. Some of those clouds do begin to break, though, by the time we get to Wednesday night and then early into Thursday morning. They're not going to break completely. We are still going to deal with some cloud cover as we head into the Thursday morning commute. It's not going to be until we get to Thursday afternoon when we finally see a full return of the sunshine, though, as I'll show you in the 7-day forecast, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be any warmer. Temperatures climbed into the mid-upper 50s this afternoon, even saw the lower 60s over in northwest Alabama. These temperatures occurred before the lunch hour. Cold front moves through as we head into the evening and then through the course of the overnight, and there's going to be an immediate change in the wind direction, not just across the Tennessee Valley, but across much of the southeast. Our winds are now going to have a solid northerly component to them, and that is going to allow that much cooler air to build in for both Wednesday and Thursday. 42 degrees on Wednesday, 41 degrees on Thursday, but again, Thursday is going to bring some sunshine, so that'll be nice. Friday looks fantastic, though. Got to get worse Wednesday and Thursday before we can get better Friday. 50 degrees on Saturday. Now we do head into fake spring Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. 58, 57, and 63 as we head into next Tuesday.
NASA is pushing back the launch schedule for its Artemis 2 mission due to issues during pre-launch testing in Cape Canaveral yesterday. NASA completed a wet dress rehearsal, successfully fueling the rocket and running a partial countdown, but there was a liquid hydrogen leak that caused the launch's delay. Administrator Jared Isaacman said in a post on X the problems were expected and exactly why the tests were conducted. The agency will conduct an additional wet dress rehearsal after the issues are troubleshooted, with the earliest possible launch now set for March. And if you missed NASA's news conference today, no worries, you can watch the full conference and more right here on demand on Fox 54 Plus. Download on your TV, watch for free. It's officially Black History Month, and it's being celebrated on the big screen right here in Huntsville. The downtown Huntsville Library is hosting Black History on Film, a weekly film series highlighting the courage, contributions, and history of prominent Black figures. The screenings are every Wednesday, and tomorrow's screening will show the film Selma. The show starts at 5:30 p.m. and is free and open to the public. And did you know the Tuskegee Airmen were the first Black military aviators in the U.S. Air Force? The squadron was initiated into the armed forces in 1942. They were trained at Tuskegee Army Airfield in Tuskegee, Alabama. The airmen painted the tails of their planes red to identify themselves, which earned them the nickname Red Tails. In 2007, more than 300 of the original Tuskegee Airmen received the Congressional Medal of Honor from former President George W. Bush. And Mo, I know someone in your family was a Tuskegee Airman.
Yes, ma'am. My grandfather's first cousin was one. Let's roll over to sports now. McDonald's All-American game roster is being released, and you may recognize that guy right there. I've got details next.
Fox 54 Sports is sponsored by Alpha Insurance.
Hey everyone, for nearly 50 years, the best high school basketball players in the country have showcased their talents on the national stage at the McDonald's All-American Game. And this year, a guy with strong ties to Tennessee Valley will be a part of the showcase in Arizona. Former Buckhorn standout Caleb Holt has been named a 2026 McDonald's All-American. The 6'5" guard leading Buckhorn to state championships in 2023 and 2024 before he transferred to Grayson High School in Georgia and now Prolific Prep. He's ranked by 247 Sports as the number 4 prospect in the entire nation for the class of 2026. Now, one of the teams that's in Caleb Holt's Final Four selections to play collegiately is Alabama. Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide, they're going to try to bounce back from that beatdown they had on Sunday against Florida with another SEC battle against Texas A&M. Tip-off from the Coleman Coliseum on Wednesday is set for 6 p.m. See it live on the SEC Network. Keeping things Alabama-related, Brandon Miller balling out this past week. The former Alabama All-American averaging 26 points and 5 rebounds while making half of his three-pointers with the Charlotte Hornets. For his efforts, he was named the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. At the moment, Miller and the Charlotte Hornets are one spot away in playoff positioning. Alabama A&M splitting their games with the schools from the Sunshine State this past weekend, and during that stretch, Karan Davis had some great games. The Gary, Indiana native averaged 22 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 2 steals while shooting 43% from the field. For his efforts, he was named the SWAC Newcomer of the Week for men's basketball. Right now, Coach Dante Jackson and Alabama A&M, they're 12-10 overall, 5-4 in the SWAC, and currently are tied for 3rd place. All right, coming up tonight in sports at 9 p.m., we will check in with the UH Charger men and women's basketball team as they prep for a 2-game homestand right here in the city of Huntsville. Kadisha.
Yes, Mo, tonight on Fox 54 News at 9, a heated council meeting in Muscle Shoals after the city clerk's firing. Who has the authority to fill that role? Fox 54's Gabe Glassman tells us more. An Alabama Senate committee approved a bill that would allow the death penalty in cases that involve sex crimes against children. We'll tell you where it goes next. And Memphis is still dealing with the aftermath of January's winter storm. Ice-covered roads shut down schools, trash pickup, and mail delivery across the city. We'll have this story and more for you tonight on Fox 54 News at 9. A new study shows polar bears in Norway's Arctic are staying fat and healthy despite rapid sea ice loss. Researchers tracked nearly 3 decades of data for more than 700 bears in the Barents Sea region between 1992 and 2019. And during that time, ice-free days increased by about 100 days. Even so, after a brief dip in the late 1990s, the bears' body conditions improved. Scientists say the bears have adapted by changing how they feed. So I would imagine that the polar bears getting fatter is a good thing.
It would seem such, whereas with most species, weight gain, specifically within the human population, is bad. In some cases, it can be good.
I was just waiting for you just to say the word adapt. That's all I was waiting for. I'm like, there's no way that in the way that the laws of physics works when it comes to animals, that these polar